Hey, good afternoon. Thanks for your time. Welcome back. You're looking at the wind tower in the middle of assembly. I know it's been a while, any sort of update. Thought I'd set time aside, try to update you on what's been going on. So, not much. As for what I will be doing, it's going to be putting this together. Now, where we were left last time is I learned that neighbor had sold some segments of this wind tower and essentially was missing the joining pieces to connect the two pieces together, right, on the top and the mid. So this here is 3/4 pipe. Fits flawlessly, and even though there were segments taken out of it, we found that these triangles are close enough together that they were able to accept all three pieces of the pipe and join the two segments together. Now what needs to happen is I need to drill holes through here on all three segments, put bolts through them with nuts to lock it vertically together. Now, after that's done, basically need to do the same thing to the bottom section. Luckily, on this here, I already have all the pieces. Only thing I'm missing is some form of bolt with nut to go through here, which I still have to acquire. Now, have the conduit still laid out here to run the electrical wire through. Found out that this segment right here is 1.5 inches. 1.5 pipe, galv, is going to thread right into this fitting like so. Then, my dad custom fabricated this here, which is a collar, which is going to accept the guy wires, okay? So the guy wires will be running through these saddle connectors, or whatever they're called, and be providing, well, I guess tension to the entire tower system. So it's going to look like this, threaded. This is going to go all the way to the bottom, like that. And then on this end is where we're going to mount the wind turbine itself. Was unable to locate a 9/16 bolt. Have a 5/8 here, have a 5/8 drill bit, and essentially a clamp connector that will allow me to enlarge this hole. Gonna have to do that a few times through here, and of course also on the base that the tower is going to connect to. Okay, so here we got an old school Makita with, believe it or not, a 1/2 inch chuck here and a 5/8 drill. So now I'm going to take this thing, try to enlarge these holes the best I can without messing everything up.
That's the final acid test.
Okay, well, got it drilled through. Believe it or not, I was making fun of this Makita pretty bad, but it worked just fine. And now I need to put a bolt through it, make sure it's good, do the same thing twice, and then 3 times on the receiving base.
I was thinking of something the other day that I wish I bought over the years, is they make a gasoline powered drill.
Gas powered drill?
Oh yeah.
That sounds cool.
Oh yeah, I've always wanted one, but I never, never popped for one. And this is the perfect thing for it.
Do you want high speed?
Nope.
Okay, well, I ran 2 batteries dead trying to drill this hole, so what do? break out the really old school tough stuff. Requires the generator to run. We'll be through this in no time if I don't break my wrist first. All 3 holes on the base of the tower are enlarged and 5/8 bolts are installed. Now what I'm doing, have the generator, the drill, and the tractor. I'm going to take it over to where the tower is going to be and drill the base. Haven't been over here in a while to check on it. Looks like it's still doing great. So now what I'm going to do is basically these holes, you know, need to match the 5/8 bolts that I have. So I'm going to enlarge these to 5/8 as well. Then I will be bringing over the base of the tower and testing really if they match up, seeing how that goes. Oh, I got fired. Almost broke my dang thumb. Hooray for low RPM, high torque drills. Well, here we are. It's the moment of truth for this time. I am really nervous that this is not going to mate up with this at all. Did my math. Everything should check out, but I'm still worried. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift up this end, set it right here, grab the other end, move it to be in line, lock in 2 of the bolts to act as a pivot point, and then basically just walk and stand it up like that. That's the plan. Just kind of doing a test fit. Okay, so it fits right in between on both sides. I had to move it way more than I expected, almost 45 degrees, but I think it's gonna work. Look at that, the bolt fit through. Down. This side needs to come towards me.
Well, the only way that's going to happen is walk you in.
Hang on. Yeah, you're right. Time for the long walk. Alright, so Dad's got the bolt over there. I'm basically going to grab this thing and move it this way until he can walk it through. Ready? Is it through? Well, there we go. 1 bolt, 2 bolts. The pivot hinge is established. Now I need to get back there and start walking. Look at that.
Keep taking pictures of me in it, you're going to break that phone.
The tower, the first part is up, and my goodness, it is way taller up in the sky than it seems like on the ground. So I just, before we get too far, I wanted to show what we had to do. Made the mistake of deadlifting it and trying to walk forward. I got stuck with it about this angle because it was really heavy at that point. Then, what we did...
Take your bucket and push that bush out of the way.
Then what we did is we went ahead and grabbed this breaker bar, put it in between like it is, and Dad put his weight on it to help act as a lever to do this with the thing. Once it was there, these two holes were off slightly. And so we had to basically take and do this with the tower a little bit in order to get that bolt in. So, grabbed a shovel handle, put it all the way under, and I grabbed both of those and kind of manipulated the whole base of the tower back and forth with the two levers. While Dad was basically pushing on that bolt, it is now through enough to where it's locked in place, as you can see. Now, I'm going to take these off and try to get this bolt the rest of the way in there. Like so. There we are. Alright, you can let go. Well, heck yeah. Alright, man. Oh man, now that is a great feeling to see that tower up there. So now what I need to do is I'm going to have to take measurements in the triangle for the 3 guy wires, get them the correct angle from the center and the correct distance away for the leg. Then I'm going to take the backhoe, dig a hole as deep down as I can, take some of those remaining piles that I cast before, drop them in the ground, and use that as the support point for the guy wire. Then once I have those completely in ready to go, this tower is going to be pivoted, drop back down on the ground. In the meantime, I have to remove this bush because it's pretty much in the way of the tower's maintenance point. If I would have thought ahead further, I would have brought it forward 5 feet so I wouldn't have to kill that plant, but it is what it is. Now, after that's done, the entire tower will be dropped onto the ground, and we're going to assemble it over here, run all the conduit, install the conduit, and we're going to have to figure out some mechanical advantage means to lift this thing back up. I might even end up using the tractor just to, or something.
Yeah, it's real easy. I'll show you, there's a trick to doing it.
There's a trick for everything, Dad.
I know. It's knowing the trick.
Yeah. Alright, well, the dry test run of the tower was a success. So now, got to lower it down. Probably going to have to do this in the future if there's ever any maintenance, so it's a good idea to get comfortable with it now. There's a million ways to skin a cat, so if you have a better way to do this more safe, please let me know. My idea is this. You're not going to crush my tractor with this 50-pound tower. I'm going to take off the locking pin, and then using the fulcrum, going to lift the tower up, pretty much let it free float for a couple feet there. Then we're going to use the lever to control it and back up the tractor very gently, and it will slide down. That's the plan. We'll see if it actually occurs. Alright, so with the lever still in its position, acting as a counterweight to allow it just to nice and gently touch the bucket. Now I'm going to get in the tractor and slowly back up, and hopefully the tower will come down nice and easy, safely. Well, it's working. I'm just backing up slowly as she does it, and it's lowering the tower. I'm going to back up the rest of the way as much as I can, and then lower the tower to the ground. I'm not going to record the rest though, because honestly, it's kind of nerve-wracking. There is no way that I would be doing this with those other 2 segments above me, man. Like, I just look up and up and up, and all I see is this huge metal structure above me. So it's kind of crazy feeling. So here we go. Bucket? No? Alright. Well, I'm still alive. It's almost down. Hooray. See if I can drop this safely. To put something underneath this tower because it's at a different height from there, so give me just a second. Well, this is what we've come up with. 5-gallon bucket, mostly centered. Maybe I should actually center it. Alright. Now, if all goes well, the bucket should lower all the way and the tower should stay.
According to oil. Look at that.
Hey, all right.
Now you have the pin that goes here?
Yes.
Okay.
Cool. Well, there we go. And there's still a gap between the concrete, so it's at the perfect angle. It's not trying to pull that up or anything. Now the trouble is going to be, how the heck am I going to install the rest of the tower just on top of a bucket? That's another problem. Alright, well, this is the last 2 segments of the tower. This is the very top that the wind turbine is going to go onto. And here's the middle section. Now, what we're going to do is we're taking these pieces of 3/4 inch diameter pipe, which slides right in these holes. Check it out. Alright, now what I've done is they're about 24 inches roughly in length, and so I've marked here on a dot pretty much a foot in, which is about center. What I'm going to do is put this right there, and then I'm going to come in and drill approximately 6 inches from the center point in on all 3 of them on one side, and then slide the other one once all the bolts are on, butt it up against it, and then drill the other set, and then put those bolts in, and then bam, this will be one section. Alrighty, now, Hercules strength vice grips on the outside of this, believe it or not, deforms the square tube enough so that I cannot pull this at all. What I am then doing is I have made a mark 6 inches down from the edge, which is where the hole needs to be for the set bolt. This is a doweling jig for woodworking. There are graduation marks here. This is clamped to this, and this doweling jig free floats back and forth, okay? I'm going to have to raise it up a little bit. But I'm going to measure how wide this is, set this where it needs to be in the middle, come back with my drill, drill through, and then enlarge the hole for this bolt. Alright, so it looks like the square tubing is basically 1 1/4 inches. Half of 1 1/4 inches is, well, let's see, half of an inch is 1/2 inch, half of a quarter is 1/8. So it would be 1/2 inch plus 1/8. I hate American units too. Okay, now I look at the graduations here on this thing, and I see that this is 1 inch right here, so I can now slide this over, and it would be, there's 1/2 inch plus 1/8. And if we look down, that pretty much looks dead center. Alright, have the center drill bit here. I have this dial set to 1/4 inch diameter bit, which is what I'm using. I'm now going to spin this in to set a point pretty much like a center mark to where I can switch to my actual drill bit that's long enough to go all the way through this entire thing. Okay, so now if we look in there, this real shiny spot, that has created a perfect starting point in a cone for the actual drill bit, which is long enough to go all the way through the square tubing, the round tubing in the center, the other side of the round tubing, and the other side of the square tubing. So, let's do it. Well, I'm losing daylight here, but my goodness, is it beautiful loss of daylight. It's getting hard to concentrate on the job with the view I got. But I'm through the first one. Look at that.
Now you got to change drill bit.
Yep. Went back with a 5/16 drill. Forgot I had a 5/16 bolts after the center. Whoops. Looks to be pretty centered to me. Now I'm just checking. If that's enough.
Huh?
If that's enough for the nut, you think so?
Yeah.
All right. 1 down, 5 to go. Well, forced to stop for the evening. Drill bit's supposed to be 3 times longer than it is. Unfortunately, it snapped as I was transitioning from the square to the round tubing through it. So, gonna have to stop for the evening until I can drum up another drill bit. That's a good stopping point though, because it is dark. 12 hours later. The rain dropped a ton last night, which is good for the plants, bad for the tools. We have all 3 of these and the 3 pieces of pipe installed here and secured. We have locked in the top section onto the 3 pieces of pipe. And after forensically investigating the cut marks, we found that my neighbor misremembered about selling sections out of here. There's no way that all these cuts match up perfectly with something missing from the center. So that's good for us. However, what we're having an issue with currently is the fact that now that we have those 3 sections in, it's kind of making the 3 points of the triangle hard to mate up. And so we're going through with the 2 that are. We've used a come-along to pull the 2 segments together so they're nice and tight. We're then going to go ahead and install 2 of the pins here and then do this 3rd one, which is kind of loose, and pull that one together. Almost there for the tower assembly. I almost wish they just had a seat here. Come put your dog on top of your fucking drill.
Aria, come here.
Exactly, dude. Wow, you're fast. Looks like we haven't got away from the breastplate drills. Man, that's wobbly. Alright, I'm here by the actual base of the tower. And I'm trying to see about getting this pin out that I need because, well, I need it. So I have this magnet here. I don't know if it's going to work, but no. Way too light. Well, guess I need to get like a knife or something and kind of walk it out. Okay, well, the tower's put together. However, I found out that I was short 6 fasteners or so because of essentially me forgetting to get them. However, awesome neighbor Larry told me to go check out his garage. He's in town at the hospital right now, and he happened to have the fasteners. So, lucky me, I can finish putting the tower together. I have the 2 segments that we've joined over here ready to be put down, a couple 5-gallon buckets here and there to hopefully help set it off the ground for the joining. We'll see how it goes. Well, sort of in place. Now we just have an issue here because it slopes down this way and it's cracked in the center, so I'm going to lift the edge up here with the bucket of the tractor about there, and then we're going to slide it, engage the pins, and then stack some wood on it to hold it right there. Man, that's way off the ground. So now I'm here and driving forward. There it went. Well, I've reached another stopping point for today. Unfortunately, it's not due to a loss of daylight or anything, but loss of weather conditions. I love the rain, it's awesome, but at the same time, I kind of wish I could have finished the tower today. That's all I have for now. See you in a couple days after this rain goes away.